All right, we ready? What? Red. It's recording. Not on. It's not live streaming up here. But I'll record this that way for all the parents and students who weren't able to be here tonight and get all the information and everything on the paper. I left a little spot for you to take notes in case you have questions. We'll answer as many questions you have. We finalized everything this week, and so what I'd love to do tonight is just spend a few minutes talking about what each day is going to look like, and then what you need to bring, and just what to prepare for as far as like what the week's going to look like. So if you look on your paper, we'll just start at the beginning of the week. I left out the 2 Sundays that we're going to be traveling, but at the top of the paper I put on there, what we're shooting to leave at is at 9 o'clock on that Sunday. That has changed because for a couple of reasons. We went down to Orlando, and even on Sundays, it's a long drive. We don't want to get there at midnight. We want to be able to be charged up enough to start strong. So we actually pulled it back because my original intention was to leave after Sunday morning and get lunch and everything, but we're just going to add the meal. We have enough buffer zone for that, so we're going to add a meal for lunch that day. And so what we're going to do is we're going to arrive here as early as possible to eat breakfast, get everything packed up. The vans will be up here. The trailer's going to be up on this part so that when the students come in on that Sunday morning, we can get their bag packed. They can come in here, get a good breakfast, and then we'll be praying with Pastor Joe sending us out. We're also going to pray the week before, the 27th, which would be Awana Sunday. We're going to have a church-wide prayer over us in preparation of what that next week is going to look like. And then when we leave that next Sunday morning, Pastor Joe is going to pray for us as we launch out. And whoever else is here for that morning breakfast, we'll launch out at Sunday school time. So that's the plan. We'll get there then in the evening, about 7 o'clock, and it'll be much better for us as far as getting ready for the week and nobody like straggling in and dragging their bags to the room and getting in bed needs to early. So as you see, we're going to be starting Monday morning. We're going to be starting at New Beginnings. New Beginnings is an organization that works with those who are in poverty about getting families back on their feet. They've got thrift stores that are connected to this building. And so what we're going to be doing on Monday is working with them, getting all these things that people have donated sorted, organized. There'll be people there while we're there, and so they'll be working with us, explaining to us about what the organization is all about. One thing I stressed of everything that we're going to do that week is that every organization would allot a little bit of time to tell us what it is that they do and who they connect to the most and how they make an impact in the community that we're there in. So we want to be able to learn about what's going on in our own backyard and what's happening. So New Beginnings is on that Monday. We'll get there at 10:30. It's in Kissimmee, so we're going to have quite a hike each morning and each day. So we'll be driving a bit, but it's all good. We're going to have opportunities to see what's going on in Orlando on our drive. But we're going to have we're going to be all over. And so when you guys get the Devo books that I'm going to make for you, you're going to see all the different locations around Central Florida that we're going to be. But this one's going to be in Kissimmee, which is going to be a good 45-minute drive from where we're at. We're going to spend the day there, and then we're going to get back that night, take it easy. Chris and Richie are going to just grill up some hot dogs and hamburgers and stuff. We're going to take it easy that first night. We're going to hang out by the pool, and that's going to be good. We have 3 houses, if I didn't tell you last time. We have 3 houses that we're going to be at, but we're going to be at one community, the big house that we have has a very large pool and a hot tub and everything, so we're going to be at that one the majority of the time, especially Monday. We'll hang out there, and then that evening, each night we're going to have a speaker and a singer. First night, Mike is going to sing, Kristen's going to speak, and so we're going to launch out in a good way because they're great people. They're going to explain what it is that's going on in their lives, what God's doing in Florida in their lives. And so that's going to be the first day. Then the second day, we're going to be doing, this is the complicated day. We're going to be all together the first day, but the second day, things got a little complicated that we had to drive down to Orlando and do a little problem solving with this one because hurricane relief is actually what they notified me of really late after I had already booked everything, was that anybody 14 and above can do hurricane relief, but anybody under 14 is not eligible to be on any of the job sites, which is problematic considering the fact that half of our youth group is under 14 and the other half is 14 and above. So what we're going to do is that our older crew, the high school is most of them are going to be in high school and 8th grade, is going to go do hurricane relief with 3 of our leaders. It's all in Lakeland, so it's about an hour west. And so that night we're going to go to the beach because we're already out an hour that way, and so we'll finish up at the beach. But they're going to be out doing hurricane relief on that Tuesday. And then the younger crew, 3 other adult leaders are going to take our younger crew and be a part of Kids Pack. Kids Pack is a group that what they do is pack lunches for families that have children that are in poverty. What happens is summer hits and their children don't have that lunch that they depend on. Their families can count on that lunch when they're at school, but they can't count on that lunch during the summertime. So they pack lunches for the kids, and a driver takes them out to the locations where there's a lot of poverty and hands them out to the kids. Well, the problem was all of their staff quit, and the only person left was the executive director and the driver of the van. So that's the only people left. So they desperately need us, but they only need us for the morning because then they close down after the morning. So the younger crew is going to be with them. And so Abby and I went to Orlando this past week to try to find another organization, and we were coming up with nothing. It was just 0. Everybody was locked. Doors were locked at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and we were going, what are we going to do? We have this day, and we have nothing else in this whole city. So we go to a Nazarene church in the area, and they said, the only place we know is this place. And so we go there, cars everywhere. Every light in the building is off. Every door is locked. We can't figure out how to get in. So we stood out in the parking lot for a long time waiting for anybody to open the door after knocking. You can't get anything. So we left, and I thought, I don't know what we're going to do. So I typed in on my GPS the Christian university that's in the area, and I thought maybe they'll have an idea. Told me to do a U-turn. Did a U-turn, was driving by, and there was this building there that said Lighthouse Ministries. And Abby said, why don't we try that? And I was in a bad mood because nothing was going right. And I said, no, forget it. We're just going to go home and we're not going to do anything today. And we stopped at a red light, and it was really quiet in my car. And I said, all right. And I pulled in right when it was like the last entrance into it. I pulled it in, and when we went inside, they said, let me take you to the director. And so we walked in. She said, have a seat. We sat down in the office, and she said, what can I help you with? And I said, well, we're a youth group. We're coming down from Georgia. We want to be able to help out and serve in some capacity. We're on here on a mission trip, and we can only serve this day, and we want to know if you had an opportunity. And she said, wait, hold on. I just told everybody to leave my office so that you guys can come in, and the last thing I said to them was, what are we going to do? We have nobody booked for June to help us out, and we need this done. And she said, I don't know how you guys showed up at my front door, but you guys drove down from Georgia, walked into my office and said, we want to help in June. And I looked at my calendar and I said, we need help in June. And I said, that's what we're here for. That's exactly what I want to do. I don't want to take the kids on a trip that we help out organizations that are like, yeah, I guess we can find you something to do. I want to help out with the organizations that really need help, that really have an opportunity for us to move in and be a part of it. And so,
can I ask a question? Something Abby was right.
Abby was absolutely right, and I was 100% wrong on that one. Yes. It was one of those moments where I got back in the car after we were done, and I said, yeah, you were right. Okay, yeah, this is good. And so God really opened the door for us to be here. So we're really excited about this opportunity to help out with Lighthouse. They do ministry for women who've been, we're going to be on the women's side. There's a men's side too. We're going to be on the women's side. And they do a lot of ministry with women who have been through really difficult times. A lot of them have been in domestic abuse situations, being chased by people. And so this is one of those things where they find a safe haven and find a place for their kids. There's a daycare involved there, so the mom can attend GED classes right there on site, live there in safety. And then also be able to have their kids being taken care of in the daycare. So it's a great setup, and she was more than happy to plug us in, and she's excited about it, and we're excited about it. So that's Tuesday. Then we're going to go, like I said, we're almost to the beach already. We're going to continue on out there, and we're going to order some pizzas, go to the beach, and Ken Adams, my buddy who's been in youth ministry for 25 years and is brilliant in so many ways, is going to go and be a part of this. He's going to preach to us on the beach, and we're going to watch the sunset, and we're going to hang out and swim, and then we're going to get back in the vans and head back that night. That's Tuesday. Now Wednesday. This is another one where we're going to take Tuesday's going to be a difficult one. Going to be a lot of work going into it because of hurricane relief and things like that. Wednesday's going to be a day that we're going to take an easier approach to it. We're going to be going to the other side of town, over on the east side of Orlando, to be a part of Cru. They do global work in taking the ministry out to the darkest places on the planet. I don't know if any of you have heard of the Jesus Film. Jesus Film has been shown in all around the world in all different sorts of languages, and many people have come to know who Jesus is because of this film, and it was an idea from Cru. Cru has really pushed that, so Cru is going to be taking us on a tour so the kids can wear regular clothes that day. We'll go through that in a little bit, what kind of stuff they're wearing, but this is a regular day. We're not going to be doing hard work on Wednesday. They're going to take us on a tour of everything Cru is doing around the world. Then we're going to eat at Wycliffe. Wycliffe is going to be a tour that we go on that afternoon. They're the ones who have translated. If you've read a Bible in any translation outside of English, the chances are it's been translated by Wycliffe. Wycliffe has translated the Bible in thousands of languages and sent it to every part of the world to try to get people to know who Jesus is. So we're going to hang out with them, get to know what they're doing. We're going to be there from about 10 to 3 that day. And then at 3 o'clock, we're going to have a little bit of time. We're going to go to the Mall at Millennia, which is an enormous mall. It will give them a time for maybe an hour or so to kind of walk around, and then we're going to eat at the food court there. The food court and the food that we eat at Wycliffe that day, we're going to give $10 to every student to be able to get what they need at Wycliffe, and then $10 to every student to get what they need at the food court, and then that's money that they can keep, any change that they could have, the things that they need, snacks and stuff, that's stuff that they can keep. But that's going to be the one day that food's going to be a little different. We're not packing lunches and stuff like that. So they're going to be supplied with that. We eat at the food court, and then we're going to leave the food court and go just a few miles. We connected with the youth pastors at Discovery Church. They run a very large, non-denominational youth group that's packed out, that has exciting worship, that has a message. They're doing stuff in that area, reaching kids in ways where the kids are involved in being in these leadership roles. And so what was crazy was I was looking all around for youth groups. I was just trying to find youth groups, and a lot of youth groups in Orlando, 90% of them, it seemed like, didn't have youth group during the summer. They would take breaks during the summer or be on mission trips or be at camps. And so we were having a hard time connecting to this place. Well, they said, absolutely, we take a break from small groups, but our teens get plugged in to what's going on in the worship and in the message. And so that's going to be a cool night. We're going to be with another church, just kind of worshiping alongside of them. The youth pastor was super excited about us being a part of that. And so that's going to be right around the corner from the mall, which is why we're going there, just to add a break in between. And then we're going to finish up that night a youth group and head back to the house. Then on Thursday, we're spending a day with the Community Hope Center, which I worked for 2 years, being an outreach dude. I don't know what this family advocate. I was an outreach. That was my focus. Was walking into the forest and trying to find people living in tents and trying to talk them into having hey, will you come in and let's give you an opportunity to get you off the street. And so it was difficult because I was talking to guys that had been out there for 20 years in the woods, and that's what they loved. And so it was just, hey, can we help you in any way possible? Well, the Hope Center does that. They help with everything across the board, one-stop shop. If you're dealing with poverty at any level, and it's not just about getting you out of poverty, it's about poverty prevention. If you are a single mom and you have 2 or 3 kids, then you are on the brink of poverty right then in Orlando, and we want to keep you out of that. What can we do to open up opportunities to keep you out of that? So we're going to spend the day with the Community Hope Center, and they're going to challenge us, push us, and help us to see what's going on right outside of Disney. It's right along it's right on the strip where you go right into Disney World. There's poverty just in the darkest place right around Disney World, all in the crevices around Disney World. So we're going to be right there in the middle of it, which is going to be really cool. Then that night, we're going to Planet Hollywood. Planet Hollywood, we've already got that paid and covered, and so nobody has the option of like ordering too much food or anything like that. They're going to give you an abbreviated menu. You pick one of 4 items. They bring it to you, unlimited drinks. They give you a little dessert. And we get to hang out. They're going to have everything ready for us in a room designated in Planet Hollywood. So it's going to be one of those things where we'll be able to get in, eat with 25 people quickly, have it already paid for, everything's covered, and we get out and we go on to hang out at Disney Springs that night.
You can tell them the story about how we got that bill paid for.
Oh, yeah. So the bill was big, okay? So Planet Hollywood is not the cheapest place to eat. Big surprise, Disney Springs. And so I was thinking, there's just no way we're going to get this. We're going to have to move it to eating back here or trying to get us in and out of McDonald's, and I didn't want that. And so I was like, how are we going to get this? How are we going to work this? So I was just about ready to figure out that there's just no way we're going to do this and to delete the email. We had already reserved it. All I had to do was put my credit card down and it was done. And I thought there's just too much money to spend, so I'm not going to be able to do it. Pastor Joe knocks on my office. And he comes in and he says, Jeremy, do you know any place by the name of this? And he said the name is really a vague business name like Info Services. And I was going, no, I have no idea what that is. And he goes, I got a check in here, and he gave me the amount, and it was 6 cents. 6 cents, like 5 cents, 6 cents, like not like your 6 cents, but 6 cents away from the total that it was to go to this place at Planet Hollywood. And I was like, who is it made out to? And he said it's made out to the church, and the only thing it's from is a place called Chicken. That's all it said. Chicken, made out to Battlefield Parkway Church of the Nazarene, had the amount. And I was like, I don't know what that is. So we called, and he says, have you guys ever done a fundraiser for Zaxby's? And I said, yeah. And he goes, well, sometimes they give out the money to people. And I'm like, all right, well, that's great. And I said, what do you want to do with it? And Pastor Joe said, let's put it in the mission trip fund. So I turned around in my seat, put my credit card in, finalized the meal, and we're completely covered for that Thursday night. It's just so cool that things work out like that. I was just on the fence. Maybe we just go cheap on it, but we really wanted this trip to be something that they enjoy and to be a part of big stuff. Because not only are they giving so much of themselves at all these projects, we kind of want to spoil them in the evenings. You know what I mean? Like, is that bad that I want to do that? I don't know if that's bad or not, but anybody who sees these sheets might look at it and go, we pay for them to go to Disney Springs and Universal? That's a mission trip? And I'm saying, well, yeah, it really is, because there's so much around there that we could do to kind of decompress and relax, but also all 5 days I want them on these projects. All 5 days I want them pouring their heart into all these things and looking forward to where we're going in the evening. So that's Thursday. And then Friday, as we complete the week, Friday we're going to Shingle Creek Church. It's not actually Shingle Creek Church. It's in Spanish, and I don't know how to say it. So I think it's Potter's House in Spanish is actually the name of the church. Pastor Daniel Martinez is the closest relative of Jesus that I've ever met on this planet. He is just, if anybody looks like Jesus, this guy just pours and pours and pours his heart out to every person, no matter their background, no matter anything. It's just, his love it's like he's always ready. He always leaves his house at the moment's notice when anybody needs help, and he's just become like a mentor for me. And even though Pastor Daniel doesn't speak very good English, you could tell his heart is just to love people, and that's what's driving him to do everything he's doing. Well, we got the Shingle Creek Church is a church that was sort of just given. It was 126 years old, and it was run down, and the congregation just left. And the building was, they said, hey, does the Community Hope Center, the place we're at on Thursday, do you want this building? Because we're about to demolish it. And Pastor Daniel said, we'll do something with it. And I said, okay, Pastor Daniel, how can we help you get this thing back up and looking better? So we're going to spend the day, a big chunk of the day, we're going to spend just removing junk that's been left there over the last 126 years, I'm guessing. And we're going to get all the dirt that's been in there since, Abraham Lincoln's been president. I don't know when that was, but we're gonna get all of that out of there, and we're gonna try to clean the place up and try to make it something where he could bring his congregation in. And so we're gonna hang out with them that day, and that's the only thing we're doing that day. Then that night we're gonna go back, take it easy that night. We have some stuff planned, some game night stuff planned, put together, and then Joshua Kadasi is going to talk that night. And I said last time, he's a great kid. He is actually growing up to a man now, which is weird, but he's 18 and he just got accepted into Hillsong United's university in Australia to learn how to lead worship full time. That's what he wants to do. That's his heart. When I met him, he was a 15-year-old, I think he knew some chords on a guitar, and I needed a worship leader for my youth group, and I said, here's the guitar, learn how to play it, you're up. And he got up there, started playing it, loved it, and now that's what he wants to do with his life. Things like that happen when God's working in kids' lives. I mean, you don't know what age you're going to be when God says, or God grabs your heart and says, you have to follow me into this, and I'll do big things through you, I promise. When that stuff happens, that's why every Wednesday night, every Sunday morning when I went to these students, it's like this opportunity could come right now for somebody. It could grab them right now, and so that's what we do. And I want him to share his heart of what drives him to do what he does and how he accepted that call and moved into it. So that's going to be that Friday, and then Saturday, as you know, we're going to spend the day at Universal and Harry Potter World, which was graciously hooked us up with. We got Mike Frady really found some great hookups with the people that got us some cheap tickets for our whole group to go and be a part of that day. So that's going to be great. So let me do this before we ask questions about the events. How about we just hit a few of the things that I want to make sure you know about what to bring and what to wear and what you're going to need as we get into this. At the very bottom, I put a luggage max. I really want to try to stick to this because all of the houses, all three of them, have washer and dryers in it. So it's really one of those things where if we need more clothes, if it's desperate, it's an emergency or something, like we'll have laundry detergent, we'll be able to do some washes for each group. And so I really want to try to keep the luggage to one large suitcase that contains all their clothes, one medium-sized bathroom, toiletries, all that stuff, and then something they can take on the van with them, like a backpack, a purse, something like that, and a pillow. And so if we keep it to that, I feel like we're going to have enough space. It won't be too crowded, and we won't have to wait an hour and a half for people to pick out what they're going to wear that night. So we just want to try to make that as easy as possible. First things first, things I want the students to know that they need to bring is a Bible. The reason they need to bring their Bible is because what I hope to do is not only make this a mission trip, but also a winter retreat kind of thing where they can spend time reading, digging into the Word on their own because they're going to have those times. We're going to have a lot of driving at different places. There'll be many opportunities the students will be able to read, to dig in, to prepare their hearts for what God's going to be showing them while we're at these projects each day. So Bible's super important. I labeled 3 different kinds of clothes. Maybe you just have 2 kinds. To me, in my head, I have 3 different kinds. I have regular clothes, work clothes, and wretched clothes. Clothes that I'm totally cool with just throwing away at the end of the project. So maybe your work and wretched clothes are more of a undefined, kind of the same thing that may happen. But this is the way I put it out there so that everybody knows exactly kind of what to bring. Regular clothes for everything we do in the evening. The evening escapes, the trips that we take, that's just regular clothes. If you bring regular clothes for that and for the crew day, the crew and Wycliffe day, you won't be messing that stuff up, and so that'll be good if you want to wear it, because we'll be a crew, Wycliffe, and youth group, so you kind of want to wear just regular youth group style clothes. You don't want to wear junk clothes on that day probably. But that'll be the regular clothes. Work clothes at New Beginnings, so the Monday, and then also at Hope Center on Thursday. Monday and Thursday, work clothes. You probably won't ruin these, this will just be regular clothes, but we'll be doing some work in them. But what I wanted to push was the wretched clothes, or the clothes that you may end up getting so messed up, or ripping them, or painting and having paint get on them, is that those are the days that we're going to be on Tuesday and Friday at the renovation and at Lighthouse, that we're going to do some painting there. And so you might want to focus on having some clothes, some shoes that you're going to go, okay, at the end of this day, there's a chance with so much stuff being on them that I don't want to take them back with me. That's kind of what we're looking at as far as those days, Tuesday and Friday. Swim clothes you'll need for the beach and the pool. I would just take those on the Tuesday because we're going to be at the beach that night. Just have it in your bag. I have everybody, a part of the funds that we used were for backpacks, string backpacks that they'll be able to put everything that they need each day. Their towel, a water bottle. We want you to take a water bottle, and so pick out a water bottle before we go, and always put that in there. You can write your name on your bag. We want you to keep track of everything that you have while we're at the project. So if you just have that string backpack, you put it in there, everything you're going to need that day, and then you're going to be set for the rest of for all the things we're going to do. So on Tuesday, your beach clothes, and we'll also have pool time on Monday and Friday. It may be Sunday night too. So pool nights there. Please, 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 whether they require it or not, closed-toed shoes. We'll need those at all the projects that we do for the safety of your toes, and also because some of the projects are gonna require that, and so we don't want you to have to set out on a day. So try to just plan in your mind to have closed-toed shoes worn Monday through Friday, and then on Saturday at Universal you can do whatever you want, but we want to try to make sure that we do that. At least have 1 or 2 pairs that you know are going to be cool for you to take them. What?
Tennis shoes, okay.
Yeah, tennis shoes. Just as long as they're not flip-flops, sandals, anything that you could step on or have something fall on. You know, we don't want that. But some of these projects won't even let us there if we don't have them. So we just want to make sure that you have that. DO for BO, incredibly important. Men, women, everybody. DO for BO, bring the deodorant. And one thing that we talked about was that in the mornings before we get up, I mean, optional showers, absolutely. But after our work days, for the pleasure of everybody around you, we're going to have mandatory showers for all the students after each project, between the project and dinner time. Whether you shower like I do 3 times a day, you might not, that's probably abnormal on my part, but I get up and I shower in the afternoon, and then before I go to bed, it's just a habit. And so I'll do that, but for other people, we just want to make sure that we're putting those rules on there so that we try to make sure that's happening.
Jumping in the pool is not counted.
That does not count as bathing. And plus, nobody wants to get in that pool after you yeah, DO for BO, make sure that you bring toiletries, and I put the check marks on there so that as over the next couple of weeks, because we're 16 days away. We're launch day is 16 days away. So over the next 2 weeks, if you can just, take this with you, check it off as you get it so that you make sure you don't get down there and go, I have no toothbrush, no toothpaste, and then I have to go to Walmart and get toiletries for everybody. So just check them off as you go on there. Shampoo, body wash, towels you want to make sure you have. Sunscreen because it's Florida. Water bottle, we want to make sure that you have a water bottle on site. So if you can, just pick out your favorite water bottle, one that you know is yours. Just put it in your bag, and then we'll be able to have, some water bottles we'll have on site, but I want you to have it all the time. I don't want you to be without water at all because I don't want anybody getting sick. Florida is a very unusual place, and I always had to say this at every district camp that we were at. We always had to say it in front of everybody. It feels humid, and it feels like maybe you don't need to drink, and that just means you need to drink all the more. When you're sweating, when everything's out there, you're like, oh man, I just don't feel like drinking anything. I don't know, this is it's wet out here. Like, you need water. So we want to make sure that everybody has a water bottle on them at all times. Extra spending money. Here's another topic I want to make sure we hit on and is important. People have asked how much extra is probably a good number to shoot for. I've told a couple people already, I would say $50 is a lot. That's just my opinion. We're really only going to be using it when we go to Universal. They're going to get $20 for lunch and $20 for dinner, and I've already been through all these things and found plenty of food. If you want steaks and lobster, yeah, you're probably going to have some spending money because you're not going to hit your $20 limit. It's going to hurt you. But if you're eating regular food like burgers and fries and hot dogs and pizza and stuff like that, you're going to be fine with 20. But I would say if you want to just shoot for one amount, $50 would cover them because they're really only going to have that time for it at Universal and Disney Springs, and because we're going to have an hour at the mall and then go eating lunch at the food court. So not a whole lot of shopping time. Everything else is covered. Everything at this point is covered, and it's money that we have taken in and will redistribute out.
So would you say, yes, they have to pay for that meal, or no, they do not?
No, we have that money. We have that, yeah, we have the money. So that's all money that we've taken in and that we will redistribute out to them. And so that's not money. You don't have to worry about the lunches and dinners on the road on the 2 Sundays that we have. So $50, $100 really is that. But what I would encourage is that you don't bring so much money that you lose that. We always end up losing stuff, and so be very careful. I would encourage you to bring wallets and purses, things like that, to different things, because cram in the back of your phone in the case or something, but we just want to make sure we take care of our money when we're there. What not to bring. Just a few things here. Please don't bring a bad attitude to this, because the part about this is that you will be standing next to the same people working on the exact same projects, and if you come with a horrible attitude and they come with a great attitude, they'll be seeing God use them and making miracles happen, and you will be miserable the whole time. It's just the way it works. I don't know how it happens. Same thing that happens on church on a Sunday morning. You sit there and 2 people can hear the same sermon. One person gets nothing out of it and one person gets everything out of it. And it's because you walked in with an open heart and the other person walked in closed-minded and didn't want to listen to it. If it's that kind of way, this is going to be a really difficult trip. But if you come into this going, I don't know how God's going to use me, but God used me. That's why we encourage Devo times in the morning, prayer times. We've given them a devotional book that I put together so that they can get into the Word in the morning and be prepared for what God's going to be showing them during the day. So that's going to be, just make sure, bad attitude, don't bring that. Weapons, this applies to the students. No weapons, try not to bring stuff like that, especially when we go to, stuff like this slides. It always slides. We go to Universal Studios every year when I was in Florida, and somebody would always bring a knife, and then they would find it at the gate, and then I had to walk the student 1.5 miles back to the parking lot and put it back in the van. Things like that happen. We can't have that. We don't want weapons when we're at the projects for the students, because we're around some people that could be really edgy about things like that, and we don't want to cause any sort of trouble or anything like that. We want to be a blessing. We don't want to be a curse. So weapons are important. Drugs. No drugs of any illegal kind, please. But if you have prescription drugs, that has to be checked and a form written so that we know, and it's going to be distributed by the leaders in each house. There's going to be 2 leaders in each house, and there's going to be just a few students in each house, so we have a lot of room to kind of spread out, but they're going to be in charge of that. We don't want people sharing anxiety pills or strep throat medicine or anything like that. Or, hey, what's that for? I don't know what this is. Well, let me try it. We're going to avoid all experimentation and stuff like that, and we want to just keep that at the hands of the leaders. So if you haven't filled out a medical form, we want to make sure that we do that and get that turned into Teresa so that we have that covered. I'm expecting everybody to bring their phones, but specifically I have to make this rule because on projects, we don't want to have our phones out when we're on projects. We don't want to have phones out when we're hanging around a lot of homeless people that don't have anything. We don't want to have our phones out distracting ourselves from what's actually happening. And my camera just went off. We don't want to have phones out distracting us from what's happening and what God's trying to do in the middle of our surroundings. We don't want to be distracted from that. So what we want to do is really push this. Take your phone, don't take them onto the projects. Because if I can say this now, that makes all of my responsibility for when you lose your phone or it gets broken when you're at church renovation and you're pulling stuff out and you break your phone. I'm going to go, oh, well, and I'm going to show no sympathy and I won't feel bad about it. Cool? Awesome. So no phones on the work projects, and then we'll make everything else work out as far as what you guys need on site. We've got tools that we need for specific ones, and we've got some safety gear that we're going to have to pick up before, but everything else is set. So that's the week. That's what it looks like. That's what you need to bring. Now. Whoa, okay. So now I have a few minutes, and what we'll do is just open this up. Does anybody have any questions about what this week's going to look like? Anything that's still on somebody's mind? I encourage people to ask questions because chances are if you have a question, somebody else also has the same question. So does everything look okay as far as the week? Yeah.
So if bringing your own water bottle to the work site, are they going to refill it there?
Yeah, we're going to make sure that they can refill it. A lot of these places will have that for us. A lot of the projects that we're working on will have that available. And so I've talked to them about that to make sure that they're okay. And a lot of the places said they'll provide us with water bottles. And I said, that's great. But I'm still encouraging them to bring their own because I don't want to waste a lot. Like New Beginnings is the thrift store that helps out. They're like, we got water bottles and granola bars and stuff for them and everything. But the last thing I want to do is have us mixing water bottles up and leaving tons of filled water bottles and us being more of a burden for them than. And so if they can pour them into their own water bottle and throw it away so they know it's theirs.
We'll probably pack a few little water bottles.
Yeah.
So on Sunday, the party time, exactly what time do they need to be here?
8:30. 8:30 for breakfast, and that'll get them shoved off in time. That'll give us time to get them packed up and in there. So yeah, I should have put that on. So departing at 9 a.m. Try to be there at 8:30 for breakfast so that you can get that and we can get you packed in. The earlier you get there, like I'll be here at 8 and we'll just start doing it. If you guys happen to be here, we'll just start getting stuff packed in. So it'll be good. Anybody else got anything?
Any cases of water?
Are we going to have room to bring all that stuff down, you think?
Huh?
Are we going to have room to bring down a lot of cases of water before, or are we going to try to get them? Well, okay. So we'll go ahead and, what? We'll have the trailer, so we'll use tons of water. So whatever, we won't put a cap on it. It's just if we can get some of it. I won't make this out for the church because we might get 50 cases or something. But you know, in here, if you guys want to bring some, that'll always help us out on the way down there. So we have some snacks for them. A lot of people ask what kind of snacks. If you guys wanted to buy some snacks for the kids to take down, like I encourage like smaller things like mini bags of chips, stuff like that, where it's not community bags where everybody's nasty hands are in them. That's disgusting, and it always ends up on the floor. So if they can just bring the mini bags, they can pass those out, and that'll be a lot easier.
A lot of kids like cupcakes.
Like it's specifically.
Those don't travel well, though.
Isn't that like banana pudding also?
I take man, they're still in white kids.
Yes.
For the Friday church, what kind of, is that an Nazarene?
The Friday?
Yes, Friday.
Friday, no, that's Josh. He's coming just to lead worship and speak. So it'll be local. The only youth group we're going to is the Wednesday night. So that's the only one that we'll be able to attend there. So, yeah.
So we leave it at 9:30, correct? That means,
9 o'clock.
Okay. That means that we'll get there, and what time will we go to bed?
That was on the other sheet I gave you. I put a hard time on lights out at midnight. This is something that we're going to make sure that we push because you guys will have space. So here's the good part about it. You're not going to be scrunched up sleeping next to somebody's feet or anything like that. So you're going to have a lot of space. But the thing is, you guys have to be responsible. I'm trusting you guys to be responsible with making sure that you get sleep at night because you have to be at the projects during the day. You can't be like, calling in on the whole renovating the church day. It's really beat. I need sleep. So you guys need to make sure that you're sleeping. I can go into your rooms and treat you like babies if I have to, but I don't want to. I think you guys can take care of yourselves, but I need you guys to be responsible and to put those kind of boundaries. Go, hey, you need sleep because we've got a lot of work to do. So, but that's the main thing is 12 to 7 is going to be lights out. Some people can get back earlier. We have free time from 11 to 12. So we have that kind of flexibility because a lot of the rooms have a lot of space in them, so it'll be good for them. So, anybody else? This is our last meeting, so I want you to get out all the questions. Yeah.
On Tuesday, when they go to the beach, and I know they're going to be working, can they bring like some flip flops?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. When we go to the beach, that's the other opportunity that is like a flip-flop kind of day. You know, if you want to bring those, that's fine. But just to make sure, because Tuesday is definitely, all the places we're going, all three of them, are all closed-toed shoes required. So that's the hard part, is we're already halfway to the beach, and so we want to just keep going and go to the beach and then come home, but just trying to make sure, because that's one of those, they're very specific about that. Hurricane relief will also have to have safety glasses that we'll hook all of our students up with that are at that, and then also gloves and a couple other items that they want to make sure that they're good with. But that's the great thing about the group we're working with hurricane relief. They're setting us up for a house that's specific to what our needs, what we're able to meet. So they're not going to be like, all right, kids, everybody grab a bandsaw and go to town. Like, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be for what we have, and so it'll be okay.
And we'll remind the kids in the mornings what they need to pack with them and bring them with them. So we'll have a check their bags.
Yeah.
All right.
Every morning.
Flip-flops and towels, because we're going to the beach after work.
Every morning a debrief. What the day looks like. Make sure you have this in your bag, and then we load up and hit the road. So.
And we've got them separated. Our biggest house is, we're putting the girls in, because we have more girls than boys going. And then we have a middle house that our boys will be in. And then we have a smaller house, we'll have a little bit of overflow, a little bit of speed. It's going to be girls, because we have more girls. But anyway, that's how. So the boys will be in one house, girls will be in one house, and then another girl house. So you don't have to worry about any purple.
They're a house away. Yeah, so that's safe. Yeah.
So, question about the phone. They can't take them to work sites. Is there something, can they bring them and leave them in the vehicle?
They can leave them in the van if they want. Yeah.
Okay.
Vans are probably the safest. We'll have the vans locked all day long, and they'll be in that. So those areas, that's what they're totally okay with. And all of our leaders will also have phones. So if they need to get in touch, like, we'll also have them. But I just want to encourage them not to take it while they work, because they might put it down. You put it down in a thrift store, it disappears in less than 5 seconds. So
check-in purposes, you know, in between.
do what?
Like check-in purposes, like in between the job and.
Yeah, in between, like, we'll be able to go back. All of our food's gonna be back here, so if we want to check it at the time we go back, we'll pack lunches so you can check it. But we just want to. So if you need to get a hold of your son or daughter, you can contact we'll give our numbers out, so all of the sponsors will have the numbers, so you will have them. And I should have put that on a sheet. That would have been helpful now. If you want, there's a notes section there. We can give you those numbers before you leave, just so that you have those available if you need those. But we want you to have contact us if you need it. But I just don't want people losing stuff, because if you lose your phone, then we're in big trouble, because you can't get in touch at all. So we just want to make that. Is that too strict? Am I okay with doing that? Nobody's mad at me about that? Cool. I've done this a few times, and so I know kind of like what disasters to expect along the way. So it's all good. We'll hit everything, and we'll walk through it, and all of us are on the same page. This is great about me and all the leaders going. We're all on the same page. We know what's expected. We know kind of how much leash that they need in order to do things and still be safe. And at each project, we're all going to be close, and which is good. The only day we're splitting is Tuesday, which was unfortunate. I wanted us to be together the whole time, but we want to be a part of those projects. Tuesday's going to be an awesome day, and they'll be able to connect with other friends that day too. So, any other questions? And I'll have wrapped it up in 59 minutes, which is pretty cool. But any other questions, because this is our last meeting that we're going to have before we launch. But you could ask me anytime. But anybody else good? Know what to bring and know when we're leaving, and we're trying to get back at 7 p.m. on that following Sunday, so that it's not too late, and then we have Riverbend on that Tuesday. So, yay! Anybody else? Good? All right, let's pray for the mission trip specifically, and then we'll dismiss. Father, we are so thankful for the opportunity to do what you've called us to do. For some students in this room, they will be called in to being a part of maybe 1 or 2 or 3 of these kind of ministries later on in life. Maybe it's a vocation, maybe it's just something that they do because they feel like you're calling them to do it. But this is going to allow us to be your hands and feet outside of our community, and maybe we can bring back all the things that we learned and bring them back here to Battlefield Parkway and here to this neighborhood. So Father, I just pray that you would speak to each student, that you would give them a peace, that wouldn't have any anxiety as they come up to this trip, that you would kill my anxiety as we get closer to this trip, and that you would just bless us in ways that we cannot imagine, because you have already done that. You've opened up these opportunities for us to serve, because you said if we're willing, you're going to give us those opportunities, and we are so willing. And so I pray, God, that you would be glorified, that your kingdom would be built, that we wouldn't be building our kingdoms, but that you would be honored and glorified through all the hard work that we put into this. And so we give you all the praise in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, guys. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.